Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday night. Oh, right, love. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to SG1Radio. Sorry if I'm coming across too loud. I'm in a loud mood.
Down.
Oh, sorry, Dino.
There we are.
They've turned levels up and all
Everything's
sorts
up.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. We're back. Don't know how long for.
90 minutes.
Yeah, 90 minutes. We're here till 9:30 tonight. We have got a busy show tonight. It's not the Guinness World Record Indoor Ironman that was on 12 weeks ago. It's us. Jay and Dean. How we doing, Dean?
Very good. Very good.
Good.
It's Wednesday, middle of the week.
Isn't it lovely? You dressed up again.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd try. Just because I know you're going to Cornwall at the weekend, so I'll get you in your holiday mood.
All my good clobbers packed. I've got a real problem.
So, if your good clobber's packed from the charity shops, where did you buy that old thing?
I don't know. I've no idea. I've no idea. But there we go. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Loads of you are already... So look at this.
Look at this. Wow, they're all in tonight. Derek Summers joined us last week. He's straight in.
He was brilliant.
He was great.
Well,
I have to say, after last week's show with Derek and Boise, I don't think you or I have had so many messages after a show from people, random people, and good friends of the show, saying what a brilliant show it was. So
we need Derek on Twitter. 'Cause it was melting down for about 2 days afterwards.
Well, I'll tell you what we do need. We need Derek in that third chair over there, don't we?
That's great.
Oh, someone's in it.
Someone actually, talking about that, Derek, I was talking to someone today. I was at a football trial this evening, and they were like, oh, we're going to Great Yarmouth tomorrow. We're next to the football pitch. And straight away I thought, oh, they've got to go and find Derek. It'd be great. So there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, some friends are coming up your way tomorrow, mate.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Laura's in with my shirt, so she's all over that.
Good. It's lovely. Well done. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We've got a really, really busy one. So this show has been in the making for about 6 months.
Yeah, since about March.
So if you joined us on Facebook, and if you're not, then you will see sat in the hot chair this evening is CEO Alex Tunbridge. He's not a stranger to this show, is he?
Oh, well, he's a friend of the show.
Oh, is he?
Some would say.
Hey, I've only done one. I've only been here once.
Have you? All right, well, it's not that friend.
Was that here or in the penthouse?
It was here.
It was here. It was lockdown.
Yeah.
So you didn't come to the penthouse. That was a shame. You'd have enjoyed it up there.
The dizzy heights of the bus station. So there we go. But yeah, Alex is joining us for the whole show tonight, which is going to be rather exciting. We've got loads
of questions. Some really good questions. I don't know why I sound surprised. But we have.
Because I sent them in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what I want to answer.
But yeah, thanks for everyone sending these questions in. They're absolutely brilliant. We're going to get through them all, I'm hoping. There's been some more added today and tonight as I've been coming in.
I mean, don't feel that you can't ask a question on the feed, and we'll decide whether to ask it or not.
People already are. They're asking, is that an explosion in a paint factory? And they're also asking, my nan's wallpaper looks like that.
Good. Thanks for your kind words, you lot.
Yeah, there we go. So we go. Al, how are we doing anyway, all right?
I'm good, thank you. Yes.
Come on, let's just jump straight in. I'm getting rid of these earphones. We don't need
them at the minute.
By the way, we've got a track coming up at 8:30 this evening. Sean Clark, who's been a borough busker loads for us at the club. And then we're joined by Joe Good from the foundation as well. Thank you, Ray. Yeah. Just playing hook-a-duck in the studio currently.
He has to have a fiddle, doesn't he?
Thanks, Ray. Nip over the road, gets a few pints. We're having a celebration party tonight. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, it is a bit of a party, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we call it a party, or do we call it a celebration, or do we just call it, let's just get on with life? Because we're staying in League Two, Al.
We are. I think the word to call it is, let's draw a big line under last season and move on. That's certainly my view on it anyway.
I've got a permanent marker pen to draw that line in the other room. So what do we want to do? Do we want to go into a few questions, or do we want to have a little chat?
Can I tell you something, Al? Obviously, you're not on Twitter. This morning I woke up and I thought I need to have a bit of fun with tonight's show. So I've put it out there to Borough fans today on Twitter to send us in your false ailments or conditions, medical conditions of ex-Borough players. And we've got a few coming in. So Andy J was... Obviously, he's still on furlough, I presume, because he came straight back with a Barry ingrowing Hales. That's not bad, is it? So if you've got any tonight, please send them over. I've got loads to get through. They kept coming in. What do you think, Denny? Got one?
Boise, I don't know where he got it from this morning.
I'm questioning how much time Boise has in his hands, if I'm honest.
Well, he did very well, didn't he? I mean, he came up with Lucas Asprins. That was one of my favourites, but I think probably my favourite is one of this season's players, Ben Choker. And I don't know if being choked is a medical condition, but it made me laugh. Or Tom Colon was quite a good one as well. But we'll work through them as the show goes on.
I'm going to save my favourite to last because there's going to be a lot of people crying that he's left the club this week. But I'm sure we'll find out why. And we'll get going. But anyway, Alex, come on. Last week we were hit with the news that we were staying in League Two. How's it been since then?
It's been a bit of a whirlwind, as you can imagine. I think it's been the longest season ever going. I think a lot of us in the club thought, let's just get on the train back from Carlisle last game and make sure in the Football League. That didn't happen. The summer's been really tough for that to be on your back the whole time, not knowing what league you're in, not knowing if you're going to get relegated, not knowing what funding you're going to get, not being able to sell season tickets, not being able to know your playing budget, not fully knowing who you're going to go and recruit. So there's all these balls that you're juggling, you don't know which way they're going to fall, and it was great last week to get that line drawn, as I've said. Huge relief, and that is all it is. Look, we haven't really celebrated. There's some fantastic work gone on behind the scenes, the likes of Phil, Stuart Dinsey, Marcus Taverner, around the cases that we've been working on over the course of the summer from a governance perspective and the EFL, but that's all we've achieved. We haven't actually achieved anything. There's nothing to be celebrated. It's not the great escape, certainly that I was involved in at Newport, where you've come off the back of 10 wins. It's a very, very, very unique situation. I'm pretty sure it will never happen again. I think the best thing is that we just draw that line and focus on moving forwards, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was done when I knew Luton, and this is no disrespect to Luton, as a rival or as a close football team, got given the chance to do it.
Yeah.
They got out. 10 points as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were 10 points off.
Yeah, and they got out.
Yeah.
And there was us just left completely in the lurch to say, it is what it is, crack on, chaps.
Yeah. I think that was some of the toughest part of it was knowing we had 10 to play, knowing we had 8 of the bottom 10 to play, knowing we had the 6 teams above us, knowing we still had to go to Macclesfield, had a game in hand. I think we all just wanted the opportunity to have gone down in the circumstances where we weren't given that opportunity would have really, really hurt. You have to feel for Macclesfield and the fans, and it's really, really difficult and really, really tough. We tried to lobby for all kinds of things. No relegation at all, 25-team league. The general consensus among the League Two clubs was that relegation wouldn't be fair in this situation because of the financial implications it would have on a club. So the cards have fallen our way. Someone out there must really like us because they could have easily fallen the other way. But
I think a lot of people did think though that Stevenage were against Macclesfield, and it wasn't that way at all, was it?
No, not at all. I mean, from the beginning, it's the EFL that brought the charges against Macclesfield that relate way back into sort of the likes of January, February, March. We've been quite supportive of the outcome of, as I said, 25-team league or no relegation whatsoever. So it's never been us versus them, really. It's been a very unique situation.
And do you think that had the shoe been on the other foot, how do you think, looking at it from a Macclesfield perspective, do we have any sympathy for them, or do we think, well, actually, you've done your cheating in September, October, November when you signed those players that you paid too much money to, then couldn't afford to pay them? I kind of feel for their supporters a little bit, but we've been there, haven't we, in '96, but we've done it backwards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We were denied that promotion, and when people have said to me, well, actually, we've been through it, but the other way round. So you kind of feel for their fans, but I don't really feel for how they set everything up.
Yeah, I think you've got to look back to last season as well and look at Bury. Bury bring players in, they promise them high wages, they don't pay them, they accumulate the points on the board, they've cheated. I look at the implications of that. Notts County would probably still win the Football League. Yeah. We might have got in the playoffs, we might have got into League One. Yeah. Other teams would have been promoted. So I think it's a real watershed moment in football. And I think a lot will change because of those decisions.
And
that
you
have
look
just
at
been made.
Tranmere as well.
Yeah.
Tranmere have really come out of this, probably the worst.
Yeah, was it Ebbsfleet? Something like 0.03 points.
Yeah. But you kind of look at Tranmere and you think, big club, League Two, they've got a very good chance of bouncing back because you need, there's 7 places to be had there and there's 3 go up. So you'd imagine that Tranmere will be there or thereabouts next season, where you drop into the conference. Traditionally, you don't come straight back up, do you?
Well, look at Notts County.
Yeah.
But regardless of who you support, you're a fan of your team. It's awful for Macclesfield, but isn't it about time that the EFL or the Premier League or however you look at it, start throwing the book at these clubs properly? And maybe this is a precedent of, no, this is it now. From moving forward, this has got to happen. If you mess around, don't do this properly, then you're gone.
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of different cases that are bubbling out the EFL at the minute. You've got cases with Charlton and Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
You've got Wigan, and I think these are probably some issues that have been bubbling away for a little while. And let's hope, that the Football League's governance systems, they've got a new chairman, they've got a new CEO. I think it will be a real new era for the Football League, and hopefully they've just brought the salary cap in as well.
Yeah.
It should be a much fairer and level playing field.
I saw John Messino talking about that today on Sky Sports News, actually, and how the players were obviously a bit against it. So how does that get agreed? Is that a club thing that's voted upon?
Yeah, it's voted by the clubs. Again, it's all about majorities and voting systems. If you go back down to the proposal we put forward in June, which was no relegation, we had to get a majority, but we also had to get 75% of the Championship clubs.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of intricacies in the governance and the voting and all the regulations. So sometimes it's not as clear cut as everybody in the room stick their hand up, and if everyone puts their hand up, it gets passed. So yeah, an interesting period on the horizon, I think, for the Football League. Definitely.
An interesting comment from Stuart here, Stuart Hamilton. Financial honesty should be the cornerstone of a football club. We played it straight, and justice was served to us.
So you found out way before all of us fans?
Oh, I've known for weeks.
Come on, tell us.
I've just been putting it on. Yeah, no.
You're really good at it, by the way. Yeah, he is. He's really good. The way you look so angry and upset for the last few months. I'm worried.
So it came out at 7:00, didn't it, last Tuesday night?
Yes,
When did you know?
Probably about 10 minutes before everyone else in the world. I'll take you back to the one in the summer. So when the first outcome came out, I found out when I went into the kitchen at 9:30 on a Friday night, picked my phone up, and I've got 6 missed calls.
Yeah,
really.
So when people think and fans think, well, we know, we really, really don't. And when we get things, they are, this is the press release, it's embargoed, and we'll be released in 10 minutes. It really is that quick.
But you had a bit of confusion with the statement that was sent to you, didn't you? It was this season, and you weren't sure if it was this season, last season, or this season, next season.
Yeah, when you've got so caught up with it and you've lived it and breathed it for 6 months, you're standing there going,
what does that mean? What does it even mean?
Yeah, and I think Sky Sports, they announced it wrongly, didn't they? They said that Macclesfield had been relegated with Stevenage.
Oh, so I don't know.
You've got people texting you saying,
I was too busy dancing around my bedroom at that time.
I must admit, right, this is hilarious. I'd finished work, and Dean called me, and I was like, can't talk to you, bye. It's the only time I've
actually had a meaningful phone conversation to have with him, and he hung up on me. And he rang me back 45 minutes later. I go, what do you want?
No.
He might as well have been on the moon.
No, my believe it or not, my main source of information is my club secretary, Tom, who seems to know everything before I do and calls me up. So
yeah, but Tom has his ear to the ground and he knows his stuff.
He does. So yeah.
So what was the plan if we went down?
That was Plan B.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Plan B.
So obviously there's been a lot of work gone on the last couple of weeks, and before that, recruiting, etc., etc. But if we went down.
So the recruitment-wise, we had to do something. Otherwise, we'd have got left behind. Are we at a disadvantage? Yes, because we've spoken to people and conversations have been had, and quite rightly, some of them said yes, we'll sign, but only from the Football League, and other people have come along, etc., etc., and they're now off the table. So we kind of had to build a squad that could be competitive in the National League. Hence why some of those early recruits, your Effiongs, your Akinwandis, your Osborns, your Marshalls, they were players that we thought would be very, very good in the National League, but also had the ability really to jump and come up into League Two. And early signs are that those players will be good League Two players. Yeah. Certainly from the first couple of games we've seen. And then you've got a couple of others, which is probably where people are going, well, these guys knew what was going on. They're signing Coker and they're signing Prosser. That's just good recruitment.
That was. I just couldn't believe that.
Prosser's a big signing. I mean, I knew a bit about him, and I knew he was a big player at Colchester. But looking at the reaction of the Colchester people, then
and that's the hard work. That's the hard work of Revs. It's the hard work of Mark and Lenny and Leon to sell them what we're trying to do.
Well, even the Cummings video this week, and everyone jumps on it. It's brilliant. The manager, it's just the manager. So everyone's talking about exactly the same story, that Revs is going in there and selling them the club and what we're all about. Yeah, and it's unbelievable.
And if you strip it back down, it's all about getting up in the morning, go and do what you enjoy, and working for good people. And that's what you've got with Revs. You've got some really young, hungry individuals that will give 100% no matter what. Look, we're a few short. We know that. We've got a couple of weeks to go, and look, we're not going to panic. We're not going to just rush into signing players left, right, and centre because we've suddenly stayed up. The transfer window doesn't shut till the 17th of October, so that gives you a completely different dynamic this year. Yeah. You're going to have played probably somewhere in the region of 8 games by the time the transfer window shuts, maybe even 10 with your cup games. So
wow.
As long as we've got enough players to go on that pitch first game, we can add as we go. Yes, we're going to add some more in the next couple of weeks. But we're certainly going to leave a little bit back to try and work out where we need to go.
So I think there's 19 in the squad, isn't there, at the minute, with 3 what I would say are youth players in Louis, Arthur and Jack. So that's 16 sort of senior players. He said he wanted 18. That's 2 more. Do you think there might be 1 or 2 more than that?
I think then you've got your loan market.
Yeah.
Premier League clubs are only just going back. They start on the 12th of September. Their transfer window ends the 17th. So, you never know what happens. You go on the pitch first game, you could get 2 key injuries, and all of a sudden you've got to reset, haven't you? So, I think the loan market will be interesting. If you look at Lenny, and one of the great things about Lenny and how he's come to join the club, his ability to go and find a gem of a loan is second to none.
Yeah.
I need to go into this because obviously you've worked with Lenny at Newport. Now Dean keeps telling me just snippets of Lenny, but come on, tell us all about him. What are we expecting from Lenny? I've never met him. What am I going to expect when I walk into the Lamex first game of that season?
He is just a gentleman of the game. His knowledge. He's the most down to earth guy. Says hello to everyone. Sometimes he won't say a lot. He just sits, looks, listens. The famous story at Newport is he'd used to come into the boardroom before a game. He'd never have a dinner because he'd probably fall asleep in the first half, as he would quite rightly tell you.
He'd have a pudding.
He'd have
apple crumble and custard.
And look, Lenny is not going to be the sort of character that will be up from the first minute on Rev's back telling him what to do. He'll sit, he'll look, he'll listen, and then every now and then you'll just see him stand up with words of wisdom. Or he's the kind of guy that will say, you could do that, or you could do this. Yeah. You decide.
So to win the game, do this. To draw, to stay losing 1-0, not 3-0.
And look, Revs and Mark are 2 very good individuals to have in that technical area, and I think Lenny will add a completely different dimension. I mean, he's done a fantastic job at Newport. He's brought Flinney through from off a coaching pitch into probably one of the best managers in League Two. He brought Dougie Freeman through at Crystal Palace. He brought the guy at Bristol Rovers, whose name eludes me at the moment.
Trollope. Yeah.
He went to school with Roy Hodgson, very good friends of him. So you now start to open that book, that little black book. I go back to Newport, and he brings in this lad from Brighton. He said, centre back, Brighton, got you this guy, he'll be perfect. That was Ben White, who's now rumoured to be moving for £50 million into the Premier League. So,
Unreal.
Lenny's value will be proven over time.
I think Rev said to us, didn't he, there's no one I want to turn around to after an hour and go, what do you think? It's interesting, isn't it?
So before that, obviously, there were some really dark times throughout the whole country. And you guys somehow decided to start delivering sandwiches.
Can you ping me let's read a couple of messages out that refer to that. Just
the care line. Yeah,
ping
that's
them.
fine.
Rich Main, can you get Alex to thank everyone at the club involved with the work they did with the sandwiches and the prescription and the care line from all the Borough and Stevenage people? So I think that sums up.
Did you see Peggy this week?
Many people. No, I didn't.
Did you not see the video
I
of
saw
Peggy?
half of Peggy.
Oh.
Only half her face.
You not see the ham song?
Yeah, no, I have, but she only got half her face in, didn't she? She wasn't quite selfied up.
It's a real. I mean, someone said to me, when you stay up, what's going to happen? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to cry, or you're going to? And it was just relief. But I must admit, I got through Tuesday night and Wednesday. The amount of things we had to do Wednesday that you wouldn't imagine, like try and get hold of footballs and all the numbers for league shirts and fill in the handbook that's trying to go to print. And
You've been down Sport and Soccer, haven't you?
Yeah, I've sent Keith down there. He's topped up. And I got to Friday afternoon and Dan, my media guy, said, video's gone out, the thank you video. And I was about 4 minutes in and I'm thinking, I'm gone, I'm going. You know, the tears were starting to well up, and it's not till you, it's very easy to get wrapped up in what's going on, and particularly with the care line. Those who are on the ground delivering the sandwiches, they're seeing it.
Oh man,
and you know, the dedication of some of those individuals is just unbelievable. Some of them had jobs still; they were working their job and still delivering. Some of our staff have been fantastic, been furloughed, volunteering, and some of the characters we've met just from the volunteers, I mean, it's phenomenal. But then all I see, so for 3 months, myself and Joe and Aidan, we've been buying bread and cheese and sandwich boxes and sticking labels on sandwiches. We don't necessarily get to see those individuals that have benefited. And when you see the video, you really realise actually it was a sandwich. It was something really simple, but the impact
it wasn't,
it had
was it? It wasn't a sandwich.
No, it's far more than a sandwich. It really was. It's that engagement and the loneliness angle and just having someone to talk to.
My first run, I was like, I need to get through this quick. This is what it's all about. In fact, Dean did that run and I copied your run.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll get around this. I'm not thinking of
40 minutes.
It was
bosh.
Round, and then as it continued through the weeks, I was taking longer and longer because it wasn't about the sandwich. It was about, how are you doing? You're right. Yeah, how's things? They didn't want the sandwich.
Well, I
told you.
I was delivering to the hospital. That was one of my ones, hospital job.
Wow.
And you were just met by this mob of like nurses and hospital staff who were just so grateful because whilst you guys were probably seeing the loneliness angle and everything, we were seeing somebody who just hadn't had time to get lunch or even go to the shops in the morning, get a loaf of bread, or couldn't even get a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And that was pretty hard hitting, and it just snowballed. You know, it started off as something really simple, and it grew and grew, and it only grew and grew because of those volunteers that were on the front line doing what they were doing.
Well, it's great. I saw so many people that I didn't even know. Actually, no, to be fair, that weren't associated with the football club. They were walking in one day and going, "Oh, Jay, how are you? Well, what are you doing?" I went, "Oh, I'm delivering." I went,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You've got nothing to do with this football club at all." And people just jumping in.
And look, we've said, look, we're gonna press the care line on, and I'm sure Joe will talk about that shortly. But there is still a couple of unfinished businesses with the care line. There is a big thank you to all those volunteers, which will happen when we can get them back in the stadium. There's no doubt about that.
Brilliant.
And then you've told me we're going to do Christmas dinner.
Yeah. Come on.
So I said jokingly to you the other day, I said I'd love to get all those people who've had a sandwich in the North Stand in December and give them a Christmas dinner, get them all together, hear their stories, and just really meet them and just sort of say thank you for being part of it as well.
That means the start of the Stevenage Borough Christmas Choir, I believe.
And Andy says Claire's mum loved it. Thank you. And Sharon Taylor, what you did was very special. Thank you.
The worst one that got me was a Monday morning, and I delivered to a lady who hadn't spoke to anyone since Friday when the last sandwich went through, and I couldn't leave her. Yeah. I just sat down on the step and just talked, and I was like,
I mean, I used to bang on about Betty, didn't I? And you met Betty one day, and she was brilliant, you know. And she'd hang on a minute, she'd say, and she'd go in, and she'd bring a framed photo out of her. You know, when she was in her mid-20s. This is when I was a nurse in Dubai.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'd get another picture, and then she'd tell me about her gentleman friend in Ireland who she couldn't wait for lockdown to finish to get him over. And
she promised I was the only one.
I know, and I said that to her as well. I
can't
didn't
believe
realise she was two-timing me with you.
And then I took Arthur Ironson round and Terence Van Cooten.
Oh, that was that then.
I was gone. I was old news.
I think it's just changed the whole outlook. I might drive back from the training ground and go down Broadwell to Crescent, and you see all these houses, and you never really think who lives there. But actually now, there's some incredible people in this town, and there's that older generation who actually the community's just embraced, and you've got all these wonderful memories, and it's all just about ensuring that continues now.
What was your peak? 100 people every day?
We were peak about 110 plus the lister, so about 220 sandwiches. Which is, I must say thank you. There's a lady called Nicola who got furloughed from a job in the city and said she wanted to help. And Nicola has been our logistical angel, dealing with calls, getting labels out, making sure sandwiches go in the right place. I don't think we had a sandwich go in the wrong place. So Nicola, if you're listening, thank you, because you really were sort of the hidden gem behind the scenes. And
that's the thing, but she had nothing to do with the club?
Nothing at all.
Wow. That's our football club, Dean. That's our football club.
Right, isn't it?
Well, look, we've got lots coming up. We've got Joe Good coming on from the foundation as well. We've still got a load of questions
we haven't asked
from
a question
you guys that we're going to do after Joe, if that's all right. We're here till 9:30 tonight. And at the top of the show, we started talking about some of these ailments. I've got a few more of them. ADHD J Campbell. Do you like that? That's from our Stato. He's on tonight.
What was one of Boyce's was Michael Gouty, Chris Day surgery,
Arthritis Ironton.
The most simple one here is Neil Illman.
I'm wondering when your watershed kicks in. Paul Fry.
Yeah. We'll leave that until after 8:30.
Yeah, we'll leave that. Yeah, definitely. But one of my favourites so far, and you'll like this one, Al. And obviously, we were hit by the news that he left the club this week, which I think most of us were expecting. We spoke about him last week. Is Farman syndrome, the inability to kick the ball without doing a 360-degree turn.
He does do that.
I'm going to miss him rubbing the ball at the start of the game.
Putting it up his jumper. Yeah. We always watch out. When you do commentary, there's always a bit of a lull between, you've done the teams and you're waiting for the referee to go blow the whistle, and then you could always commentate on Paul Farman running to the centre spot, sticking the ball up his jumper, giving it a wipe down and then running back. We'll miss that. So we need to have a word with young Cummings. He needs to start to give us some pre-match entertainment. So.
Right, we'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes. We'll have Joe Good on the phone. Music tonight, track is supplied by a Borough fan, nonetheless. Yes. Sean Clark, he's not just about 15. He's my go-to man when we've not got a Borough busker. He's just always, I'm there. So this is A Long Way to Go by Sean Clark. We'll be back in about 4 minutes with Joe Good from the foundation.
A long way to go, I've come quite far, you see. I've jumped over hurdles to die, through hoops for who I want to be. A singer, a writer, a performer of songs, a man who takes the stage. Take everything that's thrown at me, and the words just jump off the page. When I down a guitar, to play songs by my favourite band, but there was only one way. I still have a long way to go. I've come quite far, you see. Jumped over hurdles to die, through hoops for who I want to be. I face many obstacles, many challenges will come my way. Battled on through thick and thin to seize control of the day. I found my setbacks have gone back up, I've been kicked in the curb again. I come back stronger each time I'm down, and I think back to when I still have a long way to go. jumped over hurdles to dive through hoops for who I want to be. I still have a long way to go. I've come quite far, you see. Jumped over hurdles to dive through hoops for who I want to be. Just like my heroes, I'll take my stance with pride. I'll sing to you the songs I've written and we'll dance into the night. I still have a long way to go. I've come quite far, you see. I've jumped over hurdles to dive through hoops for who I want to be. I still have a long way to go. I've come quite far, you see. I've jumped over hurdles to dive through hoops for who I want to be. I still have a long way to go. I've come quite far, you see. I've jumped over hurdles to dive through hoops for who I want to be. For who I want to be.
There we go. How are we all doing? All right, welcome back everyone. That was good fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
People telling us they could lip read, I'm not having none of that.
Well, it's probably best that you didn't lip read because we were hearing all about how the COVID test is done at the training ground. And it's not pleasant.
Joe, Good, are you on the line?
Evening, gents.
Hello, Joe.
Let's turn you up a bit. Can you hear us, mate?
Oh.
Oh, that's loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been given new technology and no controls, Joe. You've been here before, you know what goes on.
I've already been to the penthouse.
Oh yeah.
I've not seen the.
Oh my God.
We're very fussy about who comes into the new bungalow, Joe, because it's quite posh.
Yeah. Looks it.
So then, Joe, how's things? You got home from Greece late last night. Sorry for texting you on your holiday.
That's all right. I wasn't up to much really. So yeah, got back in the end. First day back in the office today.
And your new office, you've moved.
We have, yeah. Yeah, the landlord let us have a new space.
And how's that gone for you? So you're around by the bosses, so they're keeping an eye on you now?
Yeah, that's it. It's so we can work collaboratively is the phrase they're putting to all the staff, but it's nice. Under the south stand, more space, right next door to the club, and it was an aspiration of Alex's and mine when he first came back, so yeah, real positive.
Fantastic. So we were talking about the care line and the sandwiches. How's that been going? It's finished recently, isn't it?
Yeah, I slid away and missed the last week, which I was telling people today when Friday came. I was actually really gutted to not be there to see it finish. And Al's quite rightly thanks the volunteers that have got involved and the massive effort, because ultimately the whole thing wouldn't have happened without them. It was formed from a very simple idea, but became what it was because of the people that got involved. And you know, it was rightly mentioned Nicola as well. Quite simply, the whole thing wouldn't have happened without Nicola. She was the glue that kept it all together.
So where does it move from now then, Joe? Is it completely over, or are you going to continue doing bits and pieces?
It's finished in its current guise. So we made sure everyone that had a prescription collected or a sandwich delivered, or we walked some dogs and tidied up some gardens, I think, throughout it as well. Everyone's had a phone call from Stevenage Borough Council, part of their specialist support team, to make sure that nobody's sort of left alone, that they've got the ability to be referred to other services for some ongoing support.
Yeah.
And then we've been lucky to be included with 31 other EFL clubs in a bid. They've received some money from the government, from DCMS, to continue doing some work right through until the end of the year, and we're going to be doing that through chats at the Garden Gate and activity packs, online social groups, and hopefully we'll be able to get people to the stadium soon and have a smaller version of Christmas dinner in the build-up to the big event at the end of the year.
Brilliant. That's awesome, isn't it? So come on, a couple of months ago we sat here and the hashtag Stevenage for League football commenced, and we're proud of that it happened here. But on that show, when it all kicked off, I think one of the biggest things we were talking about was the foundation. What does it mean to you guys staying up?
Oh, it's a game changer. It's that long-term security, I think, with what, and that might sound strange because people, well, next season it could be the same, but everyone's convinced that it's not going to be. It was frustrating to be where we were, and as sort of Alex and Revs have said, it's drawing a line under that now, because there's been so much work gone on the last couple of years to get to this moment, and we really felt that we were at a tipping point, both the collaboration between the foundation and the club, and the things we had lined up with the foundation. And there was a huge sense of relief to right, well, now we've actually got the opportunity to show what we're really about. It was 2-3 years of work that we hope can now come to fruition. And financially, there's benefits to us, obviously, and I think Wednesday I dropped Phil an email to say thank you, because Alex touched on the work that he's done and the other directors, and a lot of it will go unnoticed and by some, but it saved jobs. There were people there that were at risk of losing their job if it hadn't have gone our way. So that impact can never be truly measured, I don't think.
No, I agree. Would you ever have to have curtailed some of the stuff that you do next season if it had gone the wrong way?
Yeah, we had plans to tweak things. I think the first year wouldn't have been quite as bad. It was more the longer term implications that we've touched on. I think every department in the club or associated with the club would have been affected in that way. I think you can get around it the first 12 months, but as you've seen quite a few times, you don't often bounce straight back up out of that division, out of the National League, and staying down there for 2-3 years looked quite frightening, to be honest.
No, definitely. So, come on, what else we got lined up? Because the foundation are always pushing buttons all over the town. You've got a degree, haven't you, that's been going on?
Yeah, we've got a foundation degree. We've had 8 students go through that this year, go through the first year. All completed their first year with a minimum of a 2-1, which was a great start for them.
Brilliant.
We've got a second cohort coming through. Currently, there's 4 within that group, so we work with quite small numbers, but there's still spaces available in that after all the clearing and A-level results debacle that was last week. We've still got spaces. We'd love to have a couple more learners on that group.
What's the degree in, Joe?
It's a foundation degree in community football development and coaching. So it's a 2-year foundation degree with the opportunity to top up for a 3rd year. So we've got the lessons are at the Lamex. I couldn't think of a more sort of unique and inspirational venue, really, if you're interested in football. And with coaching, project management, event management, sports development, all sorts. If you want to kickstart a career in football, then it's probably the degree to do. Particularly one where you can be at home with slightly a more familiar way of living, should we say?
Yeah.
And all our all the students become sessional coaches for the foundation. So they're out. They will literally have a degree in lecture in the morning, and then they'll be out in a school or out in a community session in the afternoon.
Brilliant. That's great, isn't it? Yeah. If I would have applied for a degree 2 years ago, because I never got one, and then I could have just got whatever I needed to get, to be fair. It's been a bit of a result for some people the last couple of weeks. But no, that's fantastic that they can come and live in Stevenage, stay in Stevenage, and get to the Lamex to do all the work. It's unbelievable. So you had 8 of them last year.
Yeah, we had 2 former EDP players, which was great to see that progression. And then 2 of our apprentices that have been with us for a year and 2 years respectively, they went right the way through. And then a couple of lads just came out of nowhere really, and 2 girls that were on the EDSV programme over in St Albans. So it was a really good mixture. One of the girls has gone on to play for the women's team now. And yeah, it's just been great to bring through that younger workforce and give them the opportunity to really get their foot in the door, much like the stuff we've been doing with work placements and university placements with UCFB, which is a university based at Wembley and the Etihad.
Yeah.
We've been taking students there, well, the club has for a couple of years, and you're just giving these people the opportunity to put theory into practice. So when they finish, they can approach a club and say, well, look, I've been doing this. And the impact they have is huge. I don't think they truly understand how important they can be for us in the time they spend with us.
How do people apply, Joe? Where do they find out about it? Because I didn't even know about it.
Did you not?
No.
Come on, really?
I didn't know you could do a degree at the Lamex.
Yeah, so the easiest way is to email the tutor. So our education mentor is Lucy Birding. Email is lucyb@stevenagefc.com. Or you just go onto our website, the foundation website, and it's stevenagefcfoundation.com/FND. So you all you need to know.
Cracking.
Well, look, Joe, thank you very much. Have we missed anything else we need to shout about?
There's plenty coming up. We've got some jobs coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've got some apprenticeships available for young people in town, and we will be making plenty of noise going forward. One of our big things for this year is the women's team. Now they're sort of supported by the foundation. We look after it from an admin side of things, but we want to develop that further, develop the pathway, integrate it more with the club, and Alex and I have spoken about that at length, sponsorship, all that sort of stuff. So hoping to see a lot more from the women's team this year, and they've had the good news this afternoon that they can have some fans back in rather than later. So yeah, plenty to come.
Cool.
Well, you owe us a visit, Joe, so come in and see us in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll come in and see the bungalow.
Dick and Dom. Brilliant.
Okay,
Joe,
mate.
Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
The levels were really poor on that. I'm really sorry if you struggled at home. Joe was talking loads and loads of information.
Yeah.
You didn't know they did a degree at the Lamex.
I didn't know. Why didn't I know that?
We should do it.
Yeah.
Think of
You
it,
just want a
University
student
Life.
discount, though, don't you?
We could come down here to the post office club every night and have a right old laugh. Can we?
Thresher's Week.
Yeah, me and you would love it. It'd be great. Thing.
I mean, I know you do loads of stuff and you have apprentices and this, that and the other, but I didn't kind of realise that, boom, there's your certificate. For 2 years, you've got this degree at the end of it.
I think actually that was probably the thing we certainly dreaded the most was not the fact that we might have to go to Woking or to Maidenhead or Torquay. It was, wow, this is going to have a significant impact on lots of individuals that work at the club. The academy would have been really significantly affected, the foundation, and then it's the knock-on effect. So it's the staff, and then it's the staff's families, and then it's actually the participants.
Yeah. And
what happens in their life, and those guys that might have been playing walking football, that actually that's the only hour they get to come and socialise in the course of a week, and you start to actually realise the true value of the club.
And I suppose in some respects the football club as a non-league football club could continue some of those things like the walking football. Yeah. Probably doesn't cost a lot to put on, but you get funding for that from bodies all over the country, don't you?
Yeah, it's also about the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So if you look at the academy, there's 500 players in the academy.
Yeah.
There's obviously you've got pitches and coaches, but you've still got a hell of a setup behind it in terms of the administration, the safeguarding, etc., etc., etc. So there's to be able to put all those activities on, you've got to have a big infrastructure.
Yeah, and you just can't.
And certainly relegation would have had a significant impact on that size.
Well, look, we've got a million questions coming in now, so we'll try and work through all of them. Thanks for sending them in over the past.
There's people from all over the world joining us tonight. Your mother is in Walton on the Naze. And then you've got Doreen's in Split. I think she's in Split and not doing the splits. I'd like to see that.
We've got East Yorkshire on as well.
Yeah, of course, the girls in Yorkshire. So Walton on the Nays on a Wednesday night, Jane. There we are.
And still no quiche.
Still no blooming quiche.
So there we go. Well, look, we're returning back to Lamex. Talk us through that, Al. What's going on?
So we played yesterday. We
Yep.
played 2 games, 2 pre-seasons. We played Braintree at the training ground last Tuesday. Good run out for the lads. Get
Loads
some
of
minutes
penalties.
on their belt. Look, we knew it was going to be a good week when you get 4 penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, that's eclipsed the last 2 seasons, I think. 5-1, missed 2 penalties. We know who won't be on penalties now next season. And then yesterday we played MK Dons. Really good tests, some really encouraging performances, lots of intensity. It's not all about results, but if it had been 2-3-1, you wouldn't have complained. But good start. Two good games under the belt. There's a couple more to come in the next couple of weeks, and then we've got Portsmouth in the EFL Cup, in the Carabao Cup. That was drawn yesterday. And then Leeson.com games have also been decided.
That was Milton Keynes and Northampton
and with Southampton 21s. I might get into trouble now, but Southampton 21s will be the first game.
Right.
I don't know if that's been announced today on the socials yet, but that for us that's really good because people have said, look, have you got enough games, etc. But actually, to play a League Cup game and then play Southampton 21s is a really good challenge just before that first game.
So that all happens before the first game of the season?
Yeah, so it would be 5th, Pompey, then we'll be 8th, Southampton.
Yeah.
And then we will be first game of the season on the 12th.
Okay. Portsmouth and Southampton, first 2, there we are.
I know. If only we could let crowds,
Yeah.
Oh, Portsmouth are my favourite. Absolute favourite.
1,200 at £22 a head. Phil's in there counting out the money.
Dilling, dilling, dilling.
Well, I did say to my safety officer, I said,
No bells.
do you fancy 50 quid on Mr. Portsmouth appearing on a cherry picker behind the East Terrace on that game? So
I must admit, I didn't know there was a game at the Lamex yesterday, but drove past.
Good, because we did. Council, please take note. We did a good job then.
I didn't know, and I drove past and saw players. I was like, hello, there's a sign in. What's going on? There's players in the car park. And then I drove back past after, I can't remember where I was going with my sister somewhere, and there was just fans at the turnstiles just watching the game. I was like, brilliant.
So my key message tonight will be, please respect the behind closed doors of games, because there is lots of penalties that we will incur, including financial ones.
Yeah. But Reece makes a good point. He's, from what I saw today against MK on YouTube, very, very encouraging. So the games are going up, aren't they? Milton Keynes. If you want to watch the game from yesterday, go to Milton Keynes
and
YouTube.
the big thing, I mean, we'll come on to season tickets in a minute, but the huge thing for us is because we'll be in the EFL, we'll be on iFollow. Yeah. So the EFL have relaxed the regulations on that. So initially, every game will be available on iFollow.
Live.
Wow, that's great.
So a Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, you could only watch abroad, couldn't you?
Correct, yep. You could watch a midweek game here in the UK.
Yep.
But you can only watch the Saturday 3 o'clock abroad. So I'm sure this will open the conversation up into season tickets, etc. But so on our season tickets this season, if you cannot watch a game because of behind closed door restrictions, then you will be given an access code which will allow you to watch iFollow.
Oh.
So that's really good. It means people aren't going to miss out. They can come on the journey from game one. They'll know who the players are. They'll be able to watch it. And then as soon as we can get people back in terms of crowds,
that's a subscription, though, isn't it? It's a pay service.
No, so it will be included free of charge on the season ticket.
Oh, in the season ticket.
For games that we can't let fans in for.
The away games.
And then the away games, you will pay a pay-per-view subscription per game or for the season. We're just
gotcha. So if you buy a season ticket and you can't get into the ground in September, you get a code to watch it free, or included in the season ticket.
If you haven't bought a season ticket and you still want to watch, you can log on and
it costs you a tenner.
So price is to be confirmed.
Right.
So Mitch is asking here, when you can get back in, there's 4 of us that want to sit next to each other. Can they be seated together with social distancing in force?
So
from different households.
Right. So we're getting very, very close to launching season tickets. Lots of clubs have already gone.
Yeah.
We haven't gone. We haven't gone for a couple of reasons. One, because we wanted to know what league we're in. We wanted to know what the product was we were going to sell.
Yeah.
On top of that, We wanted to know where we were going to be around social distancing, stadium capacities, and I think the key thing, or my famous words to Phil were, that's all very well, Phil, but if we sell X many season tickets and we can only let 50% of them in, I won't be at the front of the queue telling them. So when that was said, he did retreat a little bit. So we've done the calcs. We know roughly where we are. There was a figure that went out today in an initial press release. It's going to be around the 1,500 mark, 1,600. However, those calculations are based on what we would call single supporters. So, for example, if you came down to the Lamex and you were sat in seat A1, then seats A2 and 3 would have to be left spare, the 2 seats next to you, and then the next person would sit in A3.
Okay.
If you come in a household bubble, so that's people living in your household, you can all sit next to each other. So, Jay, if you came with your family, there's the 5 of you, you'd be in seats 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Then seats 6 to 7 would be 3, and then the next person would be in number 8. So what that does is that essentially increases the capacity.
Yeah.
And until we go through that process of putting people into household groups, or household bubbles, should we say, there's also social support bubbles, which we're just waiting for the finalisation on that. That will then allow us to go through that process.
Wow.
So the only way is up on that figure, which is good. If we get to demand, so we've got 1,100 paying season ticket holders.
Yeah, I was going to say, because generally, 1,500 last year was at some point where we were, depending on what was going
we've
on.
got 1,300. There's some comps in there and all kinds of bits and pieces. There will be a reduction on those. So we've got 1,100. We've got about 80% of those people who really gratefully donated the 6 games from last season back to the club.
Yeah.
They'll get priority. And then the second wave will be those people that wanted the club credits and the vouchers, and we'll do that. So if you're a season ticket holder from last season, then you will definitely be able to come in this season, we think, in terms of where we'll be. And then I suspect we're going to have, we'll take a retake of where we are, redo our calculations, and then we'll go out. So there'll be a very brief gap between each group so that we can recondense it and increase that capacity.
Is that not taking into account East Terrace? That's going to be seating only?
No.
Away fans in or out?
So away, let's go back. We'll go back to the terrace. The terrace will be open.
Okay.
That can be socially distanced, so there'll probably be some little spots on the floor, and you'll stand in your spot. Again, with the terrace, we'll sell the positions, and then we'll go through and allocate.
Wow.
Key thing on the seats is we unfortunately won't be able to give people the same seat they had last season. That's just not possible with social distancing.
Yeah.
However, we will reserve that seat for them for the following season. So if you were set in seat F39, then we will keep that on hold for you for the following season, providing that social distancing allows us. So we do appreciate that some people have been sat in those seats for 25, 30 years. That seat will get returned. So people are going to have to be a little bit accommodating this year and do the best, but the main thing is we want to get everybody in as possible, and we need to make sure it's safe.
So we'll be using all 4 sides of the ground.
So the Football League have come out and said away fans is at the discretion of the home club.
Yeah.
Providing we have the demand, then I think we will look to get as many home fans in as possible. And the only reason we've said we're just waiting on away fans is because we don't know. We might be able to get more people in than we think.
Yeah, sure.
And if we meet a demand where we've brought enough in, then we'll have a look at away fans. There's a lot of guidance around that as well that needs to be looked into. So I think we're not keeping it. We're just keeping our options open.
There won't be coaches travelling.
No,
if you were allowing.
And the other thing I would say is we'll have the fixtures on Friday.
Yeah.
We might be dealt a Morecambe, a Carlisle, a Barrow, a Harrogate first 4 home games. Or we need to look at things. We need to see when the likes of Cambridge might be visiting. We need to look at the finances. We will be significantly hit by this in terms of not being able to let people in. We had average crowd last year was 2,900.
Yeah.
It's the knock-on effects as well. It's how we deal with the bars. That we want to get the bars reopened, but we're not going to be able to get as many people. We know that hospitality brings its challenges.
Yeah.
So it's a really quite complex task. We want to try and get all the season tickets sold before the first league game.
Yeah.
Not because we need to get you in, but so we can get you on the iFollow passes. Season ticket cards will follow much later, towards the back end of September.
Yeah.
And just bear with us. It's a learning experience for not just us, but every club. It's not like we can pick up our phone.
Seems pretty straightforward, to be honest with you, doesn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, Jay.
No, it is not. That's
You've put the dot on
horrendous.
each seat, so the great thing is that that's your minimum, isn't it? So if two people, what you want to do, what you ideally want is two people to sit there, don't you? That creates a bigger
we want to encourage
capacity.
household bubbles, and obviously we're looking at social support stuff, and all of that will be in the season ticket applications. We are trying to get everything done online, so we're working with the ticketing company around coding and algorithms so that it will give you the next best available seat, and it will automatically social distance you.
Because you were going to do it manually, weren't you?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago we were having to look at probably doing it manually, very time consuming. We're having to bring people out.
Yeah.
So again, that's why we're kind of trying to delay. Things will be.
And the great thing is, Darren's just said on here, oh no, that'll be fun for us stewards on the East Terrace. But people will behave, won't they?
Well, it's really simple. We are, and I alluded it to on the behind closed doors, we are under more policies and procedures and guidance that you can ever imagine. If we don't adhere to them, it's really simple. A stand will get shut.
Loads of people are asking this, and I saw this pop up as well on Twitter the other day. Is there a singing ban?
Sorry, is there
a singing ban? They're not allowed to make noise.
There is a reduction on noise levels. If you read our new supporter COVID code of conduct, Joe,
really? I've not
available
done that.
very soon.
Oh, all right, that's fine.
It will tell you all your latest stadium etiquette.
Oh,
so what? You can whisper your songs, but you know.
No, there is.
There's some we should ban anyway. I feel.
It's going to be. It's going to be. Look, it's a learning curve for us all. We probably won't get everything right first time, but we'll work with people to make sure we get it.
And shop-wise, so are you saying the club shop's not going to be open for the foreseeable?
We're staying online. We've still got a lot of our staff furloughs. As I've alluded to, that figure of loss of income we're going to have on match day is significant. Whilst we have stayed up, and that's fantastic, we've not got no conference of banqueting at the minute. We've just reopened Shepherdbury, so we're keeping the shop online. Once we get the go-ahead for crowds to return, that's when the shop's going to reopen in person.
Been busy online though, hasn't it?
It has. It has. Yeah. Myself, Dan, and you may have packaged a few parcels this summer.
I got to step into these kits because the last couple of years they've been a bit tasty. How does this work now? I don't get it. Does Macron just go, look? Here's a few old ones that we designed in Italy. What do you want? How does it work?
We get to December. And I get a little note from the Italians of Macron saying, Alex, can we discuss kits? And my head hits the table. We start off with some initial concepts and ideas, and about 50 designs later...
Do they come from Macron? And yourselves?
And ourselves, yeah. We send some ideas.
So it's the morning after the Christmas party.
Yeah, we send them some ideas. We have a look.
You let Branowski loose with his set of crayons.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And we go back and forth. And this year we went out to the shareholders on the home, and the aways. I tend to get my hands on the away more than the home.
There we go, folks. You heard it here first.
The more popular design.
And look, the big thing for us, and we always said this with Birking, is it's the FIFA video game.
Yeah, it was massive, wasn't it?
It's massive, yeah. And as I've been doing a lot of the postal stuff over the course of the lockdown, I am genuinely staggered by the number of international orders that we receive.
Really?
In one day, we sent one to Hong Kong, Argentina, was it Australia?
Australia, yeah.
Where else have you been sending kit to?
Russia, Germany, Austria,
Norway,
Sweden, Canada, Mexico.
Unbelievable.
It is incredible. Which really does go to show you the impact that the Burger King campaign has had, and the impact of being on FIFA, and actually the impact of just being ever so slightly edgy, a little bit different on the away. And it has, I mean, the sales last year were, we reordered twice.
And you never reorder, do you?
We never reorder.
Really? No. Wow.
No. This year they're selling well. The away is almost sold out, so if you're looking to buy a away shirt, hurry up because they will be gone very soon. And homes are steady at the moment. But if you want to help out in the next few weeks, help out the club, buy a season ticket if you can, buy a shirt. We've got some stuff coming out next week on player sponsorships. We're going to try and work on ways of being innovative and engaging. SA, I think there'll be some news coming up around some stuff they're going to be doing.
Nice.
Interactive draws and bits and pieces. So
right.
we are working hard to keep it
you throw a video out that has everyone in tears the other morning. Oh my God. I think everybody woke up crying looking at that. Oh, it's unbelievable, Al. Unbelievable.
Well, it was recorded in your very chair,
It was,
Jay.
yes.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So the video was meant for our new LED screen, which we purchased about a year ago, and for varying reasons has yet to go up.
It's been in his back garden for
It's cinema.
Yeah.
It's too big for my back garden, I'll tell you that.
Not with that decking. Come on, where is it? I want to see it.
I was in a pub about a year or two ago, and
Flogged
I said, Dean, I've written something. Do you want to see it? And I got out the script, and Dean said, yeah, it's not bad. I thought it was excellent, but he thought it was not bad. And anyway, nothing's been done with it. And I was chatting to Revs, and Revs is quite an inspirational guy. He's very energetic, very passionate.
He's a bit boring, isn't he?
Yeah. And I was on a Zoom call with Revs about 2 months ago, and I said, Revs, what do you think to this? And he was, Revs like, gets very emotional and energetic at times, and
positive.
he said, we got to do that. I need it. I need to show the players must understand the history of this football club.
There you go.
So Dan, media guy, said, look, let's get Ken involved, and some of it was led by you guys and the league football campaign, and it was basically and I've seen one of the questions was that came in, what's one of the biggest things you've learned in the last 2 years?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Steve Weston, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the key thing is never, ever forget. Don't forget the past.
Yeah.
And at times the club's probably been guilty to focus on a specific season or a specific manager and values and ideas, but actually the guys that put that pitch back in 1976 are just as important to be remembered as Ini Effiong has just scored for us in pre-season. And what we wanted to do is to almost put something out to the fans, and we were going to put it out anyway. If we'd have gone down, it was going out. If we stayed up, we were going.
Yeah, there were a few comments. Or what were you going to put out? Add in, but it was going to be the same.
It was
wasn't
going, and it really was. This is a fantastic football club. This is the journey we've gone on. This is what we can overcome together, and we are all greater together. I think that's been the key thing about lockdown. We are greater as a club, most definitely internally in terms of the staff and the way we've all come together, the way we've come together with the community, the way the community's engaged with itself. And yeah, it felt like the right time to go. And as I said, draw the line. Let's get going.
There we go. Well, talking of Steve's question, we'll go off piste.
Off piste.
Yeah?
I've got one off piste
Have you?
from Andrew Muggeridge.
Go on.
Where do Bears fit into the match day situation? Now, do we have a bear or not
in
yet?
Fairlands Valley somewhere.
Or do we not know that answer yet?
We don't know just yet, but we might know fairly soon.
Right.
Cool.
So,
What's your favourite memory of your time at Stevenage so far?
My favourite memory? Oh, that's an easy one. It's easy. My favourite memory is being stood behind the bar at the boxing with Phil and Stuart pouring pints to 6,000 people
In the same queue.
in the same queue. Yeah, thinking, why did we agree to this? But no, that was a great memory because it come off the back of what had been a good season. Getting excited, all kinds of stuff going on, share offers, etc., and somehow we've managed to pull in boxing events at Lamex, which was really big, and I think that is my favourite memory for many reasons. Having known Phil for quite a long while, there was and that goes back down to the same thing. It's like everyone's on the same level. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone plays their part in that club, and it was great.
It was mental.
A particular conversation with a gentleman to the left of me and Mr. Wallace was also rather amusing that evening.
When I need tips on how to pull a pint, Mr. Wallace, I'll ask for them. That was great.
It was great. Yeah, great night. And look, last season was tough, really tough. And there'll be people out there that did every single game or almost every single game and got back from Exeter at 2 a.m. and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes to turn everything around, and hopefully all that hard work will start to come to fruition in the future.
Here's one from Reese. How confident was the club throughout that this outcome could be reached? Now, I asked this specifically because it's cost me a curry. And you were a lone light shining, weren't you, for the majority of lockdown? No, we're staying up. Pretty much 95% of the way through. You were the only one in the whole football club that thought, no, we're staying up.
I was. I have been very confident from the beginning. I had a wobble at the end.
You did, yeah.
I did. Wobble, definitely.
But only 30-70, so you weren't completely gone.
I think it's difficult. You try not to get too emotionally involved, and you look at it from a pragmatic approach, and you look at it on paper, and you take a step back, and you've got other clubs saying to you, no, this doesn't make sense. So I was fairly confident. I think, having gone through what I've gone at Newport, I always thought it's never over till it's over. Even in this case, and I was, but look, we got over the line. That's the main thing. So,
Yeah.
But for those of you listening, Dean Thompson owes me a curry.
Excellent.
Not only that, but it has to be a Raj in Nebworth, so that's
That's a free curry now.
yeah.
You can tell him that.
it'll be delivered in the next couple of weeks.
Can we touch financially on the football club? How much better off are we in the Football League than in the Conference?
It's probably difficult to say an exact figure, but if
Sure.
we'd have been relegated, we would have lost all of our Premier League solidarity money.
Yeah.
And we would have retained 100% of Football League funding in year 1, 50% in year 2,
Yeah.
third year 0, but the same in the academy. It's then the knock-on effects is, what's the value of your front of shirt? What's the value of the back of your shirt? What's the value of your match day revenues?
Yeah.
What's your away support, etc., etc.? Are you in the League Cup? Could you draw somebody in the League Cup and be on TV in the first rounds, and all of a sudden that's worth 100,000 or something like that? So it's really difficult. The value is huge. It's huge, absolutely huge. But
So Premier League solidarity money.
yeah, so that's the money that will come out the Sky TV deal.
Right.
That filters its way
And
down.
what's that,
through the
5
leagues.
figures, 6 figures?
It's a 5 figure. It's
Right.
north of £500,000.
Oh, right. Big.
Yeah, if you're going ballpark, I would say instant impact of relegation would be at least £1 million.
Mama.
Gee.
Now, obviously, that's been avoided, which is fantastic. But as I've said, there are still a lot of areas of the business, particularly around not being able to get crowd in, that mean there are still some challenges to overcome, and it'll be tough. It's tough, and it's not just us. It's every League 2 club, every League 1 club.
I mean, you go
all the
down
way
the
through.
scales. Yeah.
And you look at some of those non-league clubs. It's going to be really
no.
difficult, and hopefully what will come from this is that people will go and support their local club.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't get to a Premier League ground, go and spend your money somewhere else.
And if you can't get to us, go and support your local club.
And we had a lovely question in from the leader of the Borough Council, Sharon Taylor, who's already commented tonight. Fantastic support from Stevenage FC for vulnerable members of our community during COVID. How does Alex see the role of the club in our community developing in the next 12 to 18 months?
So I think Joe touched on it briefly.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we don't just go and shut the door on those people we've already engaged with. So the first one is maintain the engagement and make sure we're still there, because there's no doubt about it, there will be lots of scars from COVID, particularly around mental health and loneliness, so it's important that we help on that. And then it's just about engagement. It's about opening the doors, and it's not always about opening the doors at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. It's about opening the door at 9 o'clock on Monday morning for a particular community group to come and use the new facilities. It's about being there so people can come play walking football. It's about going out to the schools. Revs is desperate to get the players out into the community.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult at the minute with the COVID reg. So it's about being there for the community day in, day out, and hopefully people will realise that, and it's a bit of a saying, but we are just a bit more than a football club that plays at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. And,
I truly believe that.
And hopefully now that engagement level will increase, and lots of people are coming to us saying, we have a problem, can you help? And maybe they thought we couldn't help in the past.
Wow.
Yeah. You've had some strange requests during
Did you get your tumble dryer fixed, Dean?
But
I've got a funny one for you before you just nip into your strange request. So, it was just as the community line launched. I think I rung Al one night. I said, Al, dog walks. I said, I've been messaged by some guy in Norfolk. Can you take someone's dog for a walk? And he was like, I haven't really thought about it. I went, okay. And this guy had messaged me on Facebook and said, seen all the great work you're doing. Could you take my mum's dog for a walk? Because Dad's in hospital. And me being stupid and all right, I went, the club aren't doing it. Yeah, I'll go. I went around there and walked the dog.
Some of the requests were just...
Go on, please enlighten us.
Crazy. I mean, like... And at times it was difficult to say no.
Yeah. There was bush cutting, wasn't there?
Yeah. I mean, there was some... I think my ground staff and maintenance man thought I was mad when I said, could you just stop what you're doing at the training ground and could you go to number 83 Broadwood Crescent? Just need you to go and cut a hedge. But we did it. And actually, what was more important, that one of our hedges at the training ground had a trim.
Yeah.
Or actually, that person's hedge got trimmed so they could get the bin out. So
wow.
Steve had to go all the way over to Nebworth and then deliver the sandwich, and the bloke wanted this week's TV times, didn't he? So Steve had to go to the newsagents to get his TV times sorted. But it's all things that you think, well, it ain't a big hardship to me, so, you know, it's fine, isn't it?
And actually, if we'd be saying we're going to always look back to the season just gone and go, what was that season and all those bad memories. But actually, I think you'll look back and go, do you remember when? Do you remember when the club did this? Do you remember when that
we
happened?
won't have to remember the bad football we watched. We'll just remember the last sort of 4 months and go, oh yeah, that was good. Yeah. And Peggy will be known for, you know,
a ham song.
As Boyce says, when he's hoping that the players don't get injured, open a packet of ham for Peggy.
There's been a lot of questions coming about a certain player that we're still waiting to find out if he's going to sign for us. I think I know what the answer is going to be about this, Al. But Danny Newton.
Yes.
What's happening with him?
So I think with the majority of players that left, because we would normally do retain release by the third Saturday in May. That got pushed to the back end of June.
Yeah.
It goes back to some of those other questions: what league we're in, what's the budget, etc., etc., etc. So there were probably a group of players within the group that departed, which was, we might not be able to do anything now, but we'll see what happens. You see where you are, and then you never know. And that happens before. If you look at Michael Timlin last year, similar kind of discussion. So I think with all the players, you never say never, particularly because a lot can happen between now and the middle of October.
Sure.
Look, we're on the lookout for a few more. We'll see what's out there. That might involve a discussion with somebody we've already had back at the club before, maybe last season before, etc. So I wouldn't say you write off anybody. We'll have to just wait and see what happens in the next few weeks.
And how the hell do we manage to pull a player from Chelsea?
Yeah, so I must admit, when the name got said to me the first time, I thought someone was winding me up. But it's an incredible story, really. We've just signed a first team goalkeeper who was on the bench in the Europa League final last year. So it's kind of an interesting one. I was just telling Dean the story in the break about Jamie today when he had his COVID test at training grounds. And I was there with the doctor filling in the paperwork, and the doctor said to him, have you had one of these before? He said, yes, yeah. Used to go for a drive-through, etc., etc., etc. And I said, Jamie, how does this look? Does this look like you do at Chelsea? He's probably thinking, what amateur outfit this is. As Keith was sat next to me, the kit man, sealing samples. And once the doctor had inserted it about 7 inches up his nose and his throat, he said, no, that's not how we did it at Chelsea. To which the doctor replied, you obviously haven't had a proper test. So, he's a great lad. He played half on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If you look back over the last couple of seasons in the Football League, there's some great examples of goalkeepers coming out. Ramsdale's at Wimbledon 2 years ago, the Bournemouth keeper. He's had a really good season.
Yeah.
You go back to your Joe Harts and people like that. They all start off, and Henderson, they all started off out on loan to a League 2 club or a League 1 club. So, look, we're really hoping he's going to give us something that we need.
But going back to Newton, I'm looking at that front four that you've got at the minute: Femi, Marsh, Effiong and List, probably. Where does he fit in there? Not being rude about Danny, he's been one of my favourite players over the last couple of seasons. But it's a different look to a Danny Newton side, isn't it? And you've got 3 big old boys there that are running at you. I don't think Newts fits into that style of Rev's play.
I think an important thing to realise about this season is this is not a normal season. This is a season that's going to start 6 weeks late. We're going to have to condense probably another 8-9 games into the normal period.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to need. You don't know how it's going to pan out. And I've said about the transfer window, we might have a situation where we win the first 2, 3, 4 rounds of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
You've played 4 cup games plus a leasing.com, 2 leasing.com. You could play 6 cup games plus 8 league games before you get to the end of the transfer window. By which time you don't know where you're going to be.
Yeah, it could be taking its toll, couldn't it?
It could be. So, let's see. Also, you plan to play one system. We're going to have to play different ways, as we know.
Boise's made a smart aleck comment, which I'm not going to read out. And he's made me lose my whole track. Personal, that's what we were getting on to. Personal. Bob Sage. What does Alex see himself doing in 5 and 10 years' time?
Well, I've got some tie wraps in the car. I can go get them. We don't have to let him go, do we?
What time is it? Here we go, 10 minutes.
To answer that, Bob, I didn't think a year ago I'd be dishing out 15,000 sandwiches. So
it's a very good point.
I don't know. Lots of people have said to me last 6 months, we can get relegated. But I said to someone the other week, they said, why do you do what you do and everything? And I said, I don't necessarily know why I do what I do, just enjoy it. But certainly in this role, I know why I do it. So, you wake up each morning, you want to go and do something you enjoy, you want to work for good people, but you need something to drive you and get you through. And I think for me, it's the ability to go and do something I used to do. So for 10, 15 years, I would always go and stand on that terrace with my dad. My dad still stands on that terrace, and it's that ability to make sure when you walk out of somewhere, you've left it in a better place than when you walked in the door. In this case, the ability to just go and stand on that terrace and feel like you do a good job, you lay down a legacy, and you move on to the next challenge, really. So I don't think I'll be going anywhere, certainly just yet. There's a few things keeping me occupied at the minute. But I don't know, 5, 10 years, who knows? Who knows?
What about Phil? Because, he said his legacy was that North Stand. Well, North Stand's up, finished and open. What? You don't work with him on a day-to-day basis, but you certainly talk to him on a day-to-day basis. What still drives him, do you think?
If you speak to anybody that works in football, it's almost like a drug or an addiction. It's that you're chasing that next high. That next high could be winning promotion. Yeah. It could be a cup draw. It could be it could be selling a player. Yeah. It could be seeing a player come through. It could be developing a member of staff. There are so many achievements in football that don't always take place on the pitch. So I think we're probably on that same boat. We do it because we love it and because we've got that drive to make sure the club is better than it was the day before. And if you look at what Phil's done over the last 20 years, you can't argue with that. Training ground, stadium, etc., etc. So I think at the minute we all just want a little bit of success. We want to win a game of football. We want to win a home game. Yeah. We want to see crowds back in. There's lots of little mini hurdles to overcome in the next few weeks.
I want to announce some goals, man. Last season, I think it got to quite a few games where I decided that just leaning up against the tunnel was fun. And I was just like, I just want to announce some goals. Did I tell you the story about getting slated on Facebook? There's a group of announcers. So all the announcers in the Football League have got a group. Darling.
PA friends.
Who'd have thought it, eh?
Well, anyway, I got handed a letter last season, and I can't remember what game it was at, but there was a letter handed in at the bar that got to me. Please accept me as a friend. I want to add you to a group. And whoever it was, the away PA was also in the crowd. Right. So I was like, I'll have a look at this. I got in there. And anyway, 3 weeks prior to that, we lost 6-1 at home, didn't we?
Crew.
To Crew. And at the end of the game, I said, because I was annoyed, full time at Lambic Stadium, Stevenage 1, Crew 6. And they all ruined me in this group. I'd had to go back and found it. I was like, what? It was the score.
Yeah,
Players
I've seen
needed
you
to
get
know.
slightly. Why on
Well-
earth does he say to score? But it's etiquette, isn't it?
What else do you talk about then, Jay? Do you talk about like microphones and all that kind of stuff? Because if you're pitching for a new mic this season, it ain't happening.
I was going to go for a pay rise, but that ain't
Yeah, get a cup of tea. What more do you want?
Oh yeah, and then I turn around and everyone else behind me is eating pies and
Actually,
everything.
you might not get a cup of tea this
I'd say
season.
You're kidding.
There's no
me.
chance that pies will be about this
I've
season.
seen Branowski throwing them around up there in that old upstairs area, and there's me there with a...
Well, that was a one-man crusade by Lath, and he got the pie, and then he left.
Well, he's currently glued to a chair in Hitchin, so you're fine.
Hang on a minute, we have to read this message out because it doesn't happen very often. Boise, being serious for once,
Wow.
can you please thank Al for all his hard work and also for giving us the information we needed to hear tonight? Boise.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
No problem. Thank you very much.
That's
So,
a good point.
season tickets, I think we will get something out to people probably Monday, Tuesday time. So
Okay.
check that website out. It will all be coming out in due course.
And will Boise get his sticker?
Oh,
I think
So-
negotiations have taken place, haven't they?
yeah, we are
Yeah.
in deep negotiations.
Apparently, he had to buy the beers when you met as well. Boise was telling us last
He
week.
said, Alex and Dinsey walked out. There we are. Callum Jackson, describe how you felt using 3 words when the news broke about Borough staying up.
Ooh, that's a good question, that is. Relieved,
I knew you were going to say that.
hungry, because I was out for dinner at the time,
Fancy the curry.
and
It was eat out to dine out, wasn't it? Eh?
it was a Tuesday. It's 50% off.
There you go.
The last one, probably a bit proud,
Yeah.
because it didn't just happen. It was a long journey, and proud that after everything the club had done off the pitch in the community and all the great people and all the great things it had achieved, we're still going to be there the next day to kick on, really.
We've got one person's questions left, haven't we, in Keith Berners, and he's just commented, could do with a new music player. What, is that the bloke that sits there and plays the music, or the actual music player?
I'll tell you something though.
Is that a resignation?
Yeah. That's a funny way to resign, Keith, live on air, but there you
Yeah.
go.
Is that the first one you've had?
Talking about proud, which is really bizarre. So we us 3 first got together in the Gambia. I think realistically, I hadn't really met you until
No.
I turned up on the coach and went, who is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And you said, come and have a go at this, see what you think. And I first came at the Lamex Stadium, bumped into Lloyd Briscoe, who I've known for years. He didn't remember me. He was a football coach when I was a kid, and my dad and him knew. I said, oh, hello, how are you? Oh, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, who do you support then? And without even thinking, right, so this is weird. I went, I support Arsenal. Now, I've been going to the Lamex Stadium in the East Terrace since 1985, 86. So I've always been a Stevenage fan. I missed the glory days because I was playing. But it's really bizarre. So not only have I managed to coerce my son in believing that Stevenage is life, my life is now Stevenage, which is really bizarre. So I wouldn't say I'm an Arsenal fan anymore, which is really weird. I don't know what's gone on. But that's happened over 3 years where football has generally got worse and worse.
Well, I was involved with Ronnie for his testimonial dinner, and we were chatting. He went, who do you support? And I said, Stevenage. And he went, no, who else? I went, no, just Stevenage, really, Ron, And he looked at me like I was like an alien.
But we're a weird breed. Like Stevenage, I really believe that. I don't think you'd go to any other team. That sounds really stupid to say. But we're just
I wouldn't.
in it, and
I wouldn't.
don't get it.
That's
I
my
did spend
team.
2 years in South Wales.
I don't know what else to say.
That's the pure beauty of football in England, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing else like it. And
Yeah, but Newport fans don't support Cardiff as well.
no.
It's very territorial there, isn't
I
it?
think look, 10 years ago you wouldn't have as many people saying that, and now more and more people saying, who do you support, Stevenage?
But I've been at Stevenage for 7, coming up to my 8th season doing this now, and I remember the first season there was no kids there. And then you turn up every Saturday now, there's just kids everywhere, and kids walk through the town.
Brilliant.
All right, how are you? And it was like, who is that? I don't know. I don't know. It's brilliant.
Couple of quickies from Keith. We've done ground capacity already. How does the club plan to work social distancing for spectators? We've kind of done that, but playing squads as well. So subs will have to sit in the stand, won't they?
And this is where it kind of eats into some of that capacity.
Yeah.
We have to put, we can only use 5 seats on the bench. We've got to provide extra seats for the substitutes. We've got to provide director seats, so we're going to have to expand the director's box out slightly. We've got press and media. Those guys are still going to need to be able to come in when we reopen. We've got all kinds of new policies and procedures around temperature testing and COVID checks. So there'll also be a lot of stuff around supporters getting into the stadium.
Yeah, he said here, will access to the stadium be different?
Yeah, it will be. You won't just be able to rock out of a bar at 5 to 3 and expect to be on.
Have I seen a new sign up at Amex Stadium as I've gone past this week?
You would have done, yeah. So it's all zoned, red zones, amber zones.
Yellow, amber, that was it, yeah.
So you won't be able to just roll out the bar 5 to 3 and expect to be on the terrace at 1 minute to 3.
I do that every game.
I do it too.
I've had to sign a piece of paper saying I'm not allowed to drink. Can you believe it?
How long until the squad is complete? We don't really know, do we? Could sign everyone tomorrow, and
I think the end date on that's 17th October.
You reckon we'll still be signing players in October? Perhaps.
Who knows? Who knows? Depends what happens. Depends if we get injuries or things like that. But
Brian Hill, imagine the comments me and my son get when we say we support Stevenage up here in Leeds. Well, that's the way, Brian.
It's decent.
That's the way.
Hey, imagine the comments Boise gets down here when he says he supports Leeds.
He said, you should see the looks I get with my Leeds top 2 at Borough. There we are.
He also says Dino used to have a Newcastle top.
Look, when I first started supporting football, I support my granddad supported Newcastle, my dad supported Newcastle, so I kind of supported Newcastle.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I couldn't name you a player that's pulled on a black and white shirt for probably the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I know Steve Bruce is the manager.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
No.
I got...
Kellen Watts? No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had a very sharp haircut this week, didn't he, Kelland? I saw that on the old Instagram. But yeah, I just don't have any... I don't watch Match of the Day on a Saturday night.
That's because you were asleep before.
Yeah, usually. I come around as EFL League 2's coming on at sort of midnight 30. So, we've done the questions.
We didn't go to the after hours football
Go on
medical complaints. So
Yeah.
Paul Fry came back with us saying he's got terrible issues with his beaver.
And also got the trots.
And also his parrot's not well. But I expected that more for the vet. There we go.
Amanda came out with a couple of crackers from back in the 80s. I've hurt my Graham coccyx and my Tim Ball has popped out. She pointed out it was a shoulder ball joint, but, you know. What haven't we done? Chuck's a knee achy. That was a good one. That was a good one, Boise. Ashley Varicus Baines, we did. Michael Ruff. Ben Pawley. You're very good, Boise. Are you sure you did these?
Go find my Twitter feed. There's a couple on there we're not able to read out tonight, unfortunately, but there's an absolute belter on there.
Paul Farm, a C. Darren Hayfever. Tom Bedsores. Yeah, very good, Ivan. Very good.
There we are.
Wow, we've covered it. We did it. I thought we'd run out of time, but we've boshed the questions, and we've learnt lots. So we're allowing commentators in grounds.
Steve was there yesterday, wasn't he?
Was he?
Was he at the game yesterday, Steve?
He was trying to make us jealous, wasn't he?
Rumours.
I have heard that the BBC have got many stipulations in place, one of which is that we can't travel together.
Oh.
No way.
I've been waiting for that for 5 years!
You'll be in the back of the team bus giving him fingers.
Do you know what I think you should do? I think you should get a little motorcycling sidecar.
Oh, Wallace and Gromit.
Yes.
Brilliant.
All the way to Mansfield.
Yeah. If anyone in the town has got one, please get in contact.
It was like Olive from on the buses, wasn't it? That'll be him.
One question. I want a mask. Where are they?
They'll form part of the season ticket details.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thanks to Joe. Thanks to Alex. Unbelievable tonight.
Hour and a half. Thanks, Alex.
Are still in
I think everyone has enjoyed it and appreciated it.
Up the Borough. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Oh, we won't see you next week because I'm in Cornwall.
We're away for a couple of weeks, aren't we?
Yeah, Cornwall. Ta-da. Thank you very much. Cheers out.
Nighty night.